Gurmagad agus bhil an bach sa ghlach leis an aire stáite socht teachtasteachneo agus éisteachling. San ói mar higan an das ceann cóirle agus an bhar teachtadála tá tógan na ceiste seo. Tá fíor hábhacht a baint leis an ospidéal ar a ghlochan. As ní mór cinnte go maithí sé agus go bhás sé agus go mbeidh seán go dtí go mbeidh an tonad nó cuirí ar fáil ar a ghlochan. It's very hard to do total justice to this in 2 minutes each, but I'll try to be very brief and cut to the chase. Ultimately, the solution is to speed up the build of the new CNU unit. Planning is to be lodged this quarter, and I cannot for the life of me understand why it's going to take 3 years to build and commission. I just don't get that. I think Ordnance Crusher was started within 4 weeks of a decision. So I think it's time we went back to moving things forward. The second thing is, in the meantime, we need the full complement of staff in the hospital in Clifden, including physiotherapists. Now, our understanding is that the jobs to date have been only advertised locally, in the local newspapers and the local radio. And we know not only is it not possible to get people locally, but that in fact in many cases nurses and other skilled professionals are coming in, not only from outside of Ireland, but outside of the European Union. So I think it's time that CELTA and the HSE got together about international recruiting and that they would make sure that people are available for services here. The second thing is HR needs to be improved. And can I just make this point, and there's other points I could make, but I don't have the time. To visit the hospital in Galway, to visit Merlin Park in Galway and go home for an hour's visit, if respite is provided in Galway or if step-down is provided in Galway, means 5.5 hours, Minister, and you know that that is intolerable.
Gaines, I'm taking this on behalf of Minister Butler, and can I wish her a speedy recovery, if you don't mind. So now I'll begin. So, I assume they're coming wishes, yes. So I would like to thank the deputies for raising this important matter, and I want to acknowledge that it's one voice and everybody is on the same hymn sheet on this. So firstly, I would like to acknowledge the vital healthcare role that the Clifden District Hospital plays and the excellent level of care and support which it provides to patients and their families in the local community and surrounding areas. Minister Butler, as Minister of State for Mental Health and Older People, is acutely aware of the challenges the Clifden Hospital is currently facing, and she would like to assure the deputies that she is committed to working alongside the HSE Community Healthcare West to address these issues. As you are aware, Clifden has been primarily designated to provide convalescent care to patients stepping down from acute hospitals. However, with the evolution of Sláinte care and the transition of care from acute to community settings, the need for step-down beds has reduced. In fact, the demand for step-down care is currently an average of less than 1 patient a day. Clifden District Hospital also provides respite beds to allow family carers in the community a welcome break. And Minister Butler has been advised by the HSE that the average respite demand and occupancy is approximately 3 beds per night, and this brings an average of Clifden District Hospital to 3.2 beds per night. In the Clifden area, St Anne's Community Nursing Unit is a designated centre registered by HICWA to provide a home for older people. Unfortunately, St Anne's has faced significant challenges over many years to secure sufficient nursing staff despite national, international and local recruitment drives. And to address this issue, there needs to be a more dedicated approach to recruit staff in the short term to continue these vital services. So the Minister is acknowledging exactly what you're saying there in relation to recruitment. And in recognition of these services needs in Clifden area and the seeks to redress the nurse staffing shortages, the HSE Community Healthcare West commenced a process 2 years ago under the Croke Park Public Service Agreement. In August 2022, under the auspice of the Workplace Relations Commission and Conciliation Services, the HSE informed the Irish Nurses and Midwives Organisation and SIPTU that it would be issuing a common roster which commenced on the 26th of September, and this roster will cover both Clifden District Hospital and St Anne's Community Nursing Unit sites, so that the staff could be assigned across both sites, which are less than 1.3 kilometres apart, based on service needs. Minister Butler was advised by the HSE that one of the staff representative bodies communicated with the HSE on Friday, September 23rd, that it understood that they instructed their members not to cooperate with the revised roster. Community Healthcare West is committed to ensuring the safety of its residents and patients, and accordingly has put contingency arrangements in place in light of any potential action by staff from September 26th onwards. Unfortunately, over the weekend of the 23rd of September, the HSE were unable to secure cover to fill the rosters due to gaps in St Anne's Community Nursing Unit, which the HSE required to ensure safe care of residents and patients. Community Healthcare West therefore commenced developing contingency arrangements for the patients in Clifden District Hospital. Patients and their family were contacted by the HSE nurse management last week and were offered an alternative option of Merlin Park University Hospital. To clarify, the HSE advised that the current services will continue as normal. Minister Butler would like to advise the deputies that all those booked into respite in Clifden District Hospital last week and this week are currently receiving the service in Clifden. The HSE simply took contingency measures following advice they received that staff may not cooperate with the new roster. These measures will only be implemented if there is insufficient staff available, and the HSE will continuously review the staffing situation and operate services while they have safe staffing levels. And it is important to highlight that there are no plans to cease services in Clifden Hospital at the present time. Minister Butler will continue to engage with the Chief Officer in Community Health West to ensure the continuation of the possible expansion of services in Clifden.
Minister, I must say, maybe it's a good thing I'm in the chair.
I know.
Éamon Ó Cuív.
What have I got? 30 seconds? Oh, 1 minute. Oh, it's 2 minutes altogether, yeah. Look, Minister, the first thing, I'm very pleased, if it's actioned, that there's a commitment here to continue services in Clifden Hospital. But all the rest of it gives you the impression that we're all going in the other direction. Now, I don't know how many of us, but I frequently get, if all of us, and I frequently get calls from people who are being pressurised to take loved ones out of the hospital, and there's nowhere for them to go because they're not fit to go home or they're living on their own. So I find it strange that this step-down facility is not required. My understanding is the reality is there, just the lack of physiotherapy means that they're not being referred to Clifden. The second thing that I think we have to say is we do need recruitment, and we have repeated this time and again, and nobody's proposing safe or unsafe working conditions. Can I just join with you in wishing Minister Butler all the best in her recovery, but can I also say to you, you hit the bullseye the last time, and the three of us were here with you. In terms of the ambulance, you might do it again this time.
The HSE Community Healthcare West have informed Minister Butler that they are committed to a new 40-bed community, and I think it needs to be expedited at speed, so that cuts out the 1.3 kilometres around rosters. And the second point I would like also to say is Minister Butler also welcomes the fact that HSE are examining the possibility of providing enhanced community care services in Clifden. The ICPOC teams, as we all know, are fantastic, where there is the multidisciplinary approach, where you have the physio-OT and whatever else is needed, which are part of the integrated programme for older person services. And ICPOC services ensure that older people with complex care needs can access care quickly or at near home through care pathways specifically designed for older people, targeting falls, frailty and dementia. And I think that's exactly what is required in Clifden. It is actually the ICPOC team, and I think it's the ICPOC team we should be looking for this minute while the new build is going on. And that would be the ask. And I will support Minister Butler and all the deputies here from the West, because I do take on board exactly what Deputy Ó Cuív is saying here. The 5.5-hour round trip in and out to Merlin Park is not sufficient to the people of Clifden on bad frosty nights, and we talk about catering for people as close to home as possible, and we need to support that concept. concept. We did it before with the ambulance base when we got everybody sitting down around the table, and I will continue to advocate knowing where Clifden is and knowing where Merlin Park is and having to go right across the city and everything else. And you know what? Moving people with frailty from their natural habitat over to Merlin Park is not good enough. In actual fact, that reduces their life expectancy. So I think the HSE need to actually look at themselves as to what measures they need to put in place to ensure that people get the care closest to home as possible in a timely manner.
And,